Well, hello there, brothers and sisters of WoT Blitz universe. You're watching WoT Blitz Addict again. Welcome back to the channel. And it's Sunday again, so we're gonna watch some of my subscribers replays, and there's gonna be 3. And we're gonna just take a look at the light tanking, because all of those will be from the light tanks. And as you can see in the first clip, it's Mr. Vodka, Lucky Mr. Vodka, and his AMX 12T. I kind of love those tanks. I have no idea why they're not special. All they have is just a clip and mobility. They're tiny paper tanks, but I like them. I really love to play them while I was grinding, and even though they're not spectacular, I was really having fun driving them. The weak sides of those tanks is the really poor gun depression and elevation. Basically, that's the main disadvantage of these tanks, because the mobility is really nice. DPM is quite good, let's say, for a clipper tank, and the gun is quite accurate. I really don't mind the gun. The gun was okay. Even on the move, as you can see in the first hits from Mr. Vodka, he basically was on full speed, and he just shoot 3 shells without even scope, and just hit them all on the move against the moving target. So that's great. That was quite a nice shot. And basically, many people hate those tanks, and I really don't take me wrong, I really can fully understand them. They are quite unique. I would say they are quite unique in the gameplay, in the game style, and maybe that's why people don't really like them. When I came to Batshot, well, the Batshot is way better, feels way better than those 3 little monkeys. That is AMX 12T, then you have AMX 1375, and then 1390. And 1390 was considered the worst light tank by Pantoof, I guess, or other YouTuber. I have no idea who it was right now. I simply can't remember, but I remember that it was like the worst tank, the worst light tank on tier 8. And maybe it is. I don't know. It's basically, it depends on your playstyle. It depends on your skills, on your preferences. So that's why I simply can't tell you if it's great or if it's bad. I simply love them. I can assure you that one thing, that I just love those tanks. But let's get back to battle. As you can see, there's 3 against 2, and his teammate, Mr. Vodka's teammate, is basically a one-shot right now, which is kind of a trouble because they have 3 enemies and they're quite healthy, as you can see. And the main advantage they had is basically the burst damage, but unfortunately, teammate of my amigo here just died. That leaves him with a clipper tank inside the open field, let's say, against KV1S with a big gun, but derpy one. That's why he's simply gonna miss, thankfully, because otherwise my amigo here will be one shot. But it's still not gonna be easy, because he has 3 in the clip. He is not able to kill the KV1S. He receives a massive shot. But now KV1S is backing up because it's on reload, and it takes ages to reload in KV1S. Yeah, it was quite a good trade, let's say, and he did best he could. And thankfully, the last one, the VK28, was AFK. As you saw earlier in the clip, he was standing there, but Mr. Vodka didn't really, I think he didn't want to waste time on this guy. And now, as usual for Mr. Vodka, he's gonna troll a bit. And he's using HE. Unfortunately, he's doing basically same damage as he would using AP. And now he's on reload. He's a one shot. He can't ram because he will die, and he just simply need to reload. And he's gonna troll as usual for a while, and just finish off this poor guy for the last kill. And he finished up, as you can see, on 6 kills and massive damage for tier 6 tank. It was a great mastery. Thanks once again for sending it. 3649 damage, 6 kills, mastery, top gun, high caliber, pulse metal, crucial contribution, and Kolobanov. Epic game. Massive base XP, as you can see. And the second game is my clanmate Visceral and his lightweight, like T-54 lightweight. I think I consider it, in my opinion, as one of the best tanks, light tanks on tier 8. Of course, it has some disadvantages, basically the same as all the mediums from Russian tech tree. They don't have great gun depression, and as a, let's say, counterpart to another light tanks, it's basically, I think this one has the worst gun depression, excluding of course the AMX series. The AMX 1319 has only like 3-4 degrees. I have no idea, but it's really poor. And this one actually has quite good armor on the turret, and if you wiggle a bit, if you go hold down on flat ground, you can use this turret armor against, as you can see, there's another light weapon. You saw already the armor on the turret. You can easily make an advantage from it against other light tanks, against other medium tanks, and sometimes against heavy tanks. Of course, not always that armor isn't that great, but if no one is shooting APCR and you're in quite of a distance, there's a high chance you're gonna bounce the shell. And as you can see, he's tuning with his brother, who is Feral, also my clanmate, and they're driving T45 lightweight and T49. And the second game would be from the same day, and it would be from Feral, because this game Feral will do really poorly, and to be even with his brother in the next game, Visceral will do really poorly, and Feral will do the mastery. So it was quite interesting to put it together in one video, especially that they're brothers. They both had light tanks, and they were tuning those two together for couple of games at least, because they had 2 masteries. So I guess they were grinding those tanks, or just having fun in the light tank, because light tanks are really fun to play. If you haven't drove the light tanks, then you should try. Of course, at the beginning, at the start, it's quite difficult, because you need to just move a lot, spot for your team, be a bit sneaky. But believe me, if you master, or if you at least know how to play light tanks, you will do really good in the game itself, because you will learn how to avoid being damaged than just relying on your armor, because the armor is a bit trollish. And as you can see, this K91, basically the lightweight can't do nothing, and he was just going straight through the turret. As I told you, the heavy tank, especially the upper tier heavy tank, can easily go through, and he's way underpowered against K91, but it has lightweight has mobility, and as you can see, he's using this mobility to his advantage. K91 is quite fast tank, but the turret traverse speed isn't really great, and that means as long as he's gonna use his speed, he can avoid being shot. And that's how you should play the light tanks. You should basically use your mobility to just get around battlefields, avoid being shooted, and just being a sneaky grab and just doing this damage all over the map. And try to survive till the end of the battle, because if you die in the first minutes of a battle, you won't be really effective. The most effective part of the game is the second part, where you have injured enemies and you have mobility, you have the spotting range to deal with them. It was a mastery with 3222 base XP, base damage, and I have no idea what happened to the clip, so sorry Visceral, but it was just that part. I have no idea what happened while I was recording. And that's the last game. As I told you, is Feral, the brother of Visceral, and they tuning again with T49 and T-54 lightweight. And now it's gonna change, like now the Feral is gonna be the hero of the game, and Visceral won't be the best performing tank, let's say, in his team. And that means that no matter how good you are, they are both good players, don't get me wrong. If you want to check the stats, you can always do it. And they both close to 60% win rate, like 59 with some really close to 60%. And it really depends on the game. It's not all about the skill, it's not all about the tank. Of course, some tanks can carry, the others can't, but it's more or less oh, nice jump. But he had no choice, to be honest. He had no choice, otherwise he would be demolished by the IS pushing and the AMX pushing. So he had to do this jump. And now you're gonna see how he's using his tank quite good. And the only thing that I would switch was the ammo loadout. I would use, basically, on the side of the AMX, I would use Hash, and Hash will do like up to 1000 damage, and also penetrate it easily, because if you haven't played T49, most people say it's really OP. Well, it's not. Believe me, this tank isn't OP in no shape or form. Of course, it has big gun. Of course, it have mobility, but the penetration really sucks. You will see in a moment how bad the penetration is. Of course, the sides and backs of the tanks are vulnerable to the shells, the heat shells, but Heat and Hash both have bad penetration, and all you can do is get behind the tanks and just shoot the backs. As you can see, the Feral is doing quite well, and otherwise you won't be able to penetrate. All you can do is switch to Hash and just do some splash damage, because Heat doesn't do any splash damage. You have to remember that. So if you won't pan, you simply can't do nothing. And now is the part where the light tank is being most effective. So they have two enemies. As you can see, unfortunately he missed that shot, and he's going straight into ISU's arms. Thankfully he chose the ISU chose to shoot his teammate, not him. But there's a Borsig on top. As you can see, he had received a nasty shot. And there's one more. There was ISU that he finished off with the last shell, and now it's just about the reload. He's already reloaded. He's waiting. The Borsig can one-shot him with HE, or even with AP, or whatever he's gonna shoot at him. But he makes a crucial mistake by poking out against T49, which has a really great gun depression, and that's a great game again. So he got a mastery, another one, of course. So let me just load. Yeah, mastery 3224 damage, and Top Gun, as you can see. Great games. Thanks again for sending them. And basically that's all for this episode, boys and girls. So if you want to send me your replays, please do it on my Discord. The link is in the description below. You can follow me on Facebook. There's gonna be a link also. And if you like my videos, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell to simply not miss another episode. What more? Yeah, see you next Sunday on my viewers mastery replays. Of course, there's gonna be more episodes during the week. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Take care, bye bye, and catch you all on the battlefield.